Being a fan of urban fantasy in general, and strong women specifically, Wyonna Earp was pretty much made for people like me. Welcome to the heart of the stories we tell. My name is Rob, and tonight I will be reviewing Wyonna Earp, Episode 2, Season 2, Shed Your Skin. There's a lot to talk about this episode, but first I want to go back to last week's for a minute, because they thought something through that I love, something that they don't normally on shows like this. Without Bobo Del Rey, the Revenants are more dangerous, not less dangerous than they were before, because where you had one organization, one thought process leading them, now you have dozens, who knows how many to be exact, running around as loose cannons. Plus we have the introduction of the elements of other supernatural creatures. All in all, it means that this season is going to be full of things. Plus, let's not forget how last episode ended. But for now, let's talk about tonight's episode, as we throw this up there before we get started. So once again, it's stop. Spoiler time. And tonight's episode starts with setting up what the new normal is, or at least as normal as things get in Purgatory. See, the whole idea is that now that they're working for Black Badge, they have to deal with the bureaucracy. Of course, it's not a bureaucracy that makes much sense. Maybe if it weren't for the fact that I were researching tropes, I wouldn't have picked up on it so quick, but the fact that Black Badge doesn't want to investigate random sightings, I want you to think about this. They're basically the X-Files. Of course they need to investigate random things. People don't report revenants. People don't report UFOs. People don't report Sasquatch or demons. They report, hey, this weird thing happened. But, okay. We skip past that. We skip past the whole new setup and with Doc buying the bar. And we have an episode that's really strong into the way Waverly is changing. And probably that's part of the trick of the name of the episode, even though the main part of it seems to be about this giant spider. And even in Purgatory, that's a scary word to say. Oh, things I don't want to talk about, giant spiders. But I mean, that spider was the size of my dog, maybe bigger. And it was one of the babies that had many siblings. Alright, so just side point out away from the Monster of the Week. We didn't really learn much more about Peacemaker this week. It glowed yellow when going after the Monster of the Week, but that's not really anything new. We've seen yellow already. Yellow, blue, and red, I believe, are the colors we've seen. Still want to find out more, but for now I want to talk about some relationships Wyonna has. Specifically, we're going to start with Waverly, and the fact that Waverly now has been introduced to the concept that maybe she's not Waverly Earp. So in some way, shape, or form, she's going to end up probably being related to some witch, probably taken in as some sort of changeling by the Earp family. I'm not quite sure why they're doing that instead of keeping her. I don't quite understand quite which way the story's going this time. But all in all, she's one of the two relationships that's totally going to screw Wyonna over in the long run of this season, before they come back. Of course, the other is Doc Holliday. Now, in general, I like this variation on Doc Holliday, and I think the actor's doing a great job. He's the second best actor I've ever seen playing one. But at the same time, especially tonight, and a few times in Season 1, he reminds me of this guy I used to know. Specifically back at the end of high school, beginning of college, we had this friend. He was never exactly the best of friend, but he was always that cool, fun guy to hang around with that always had that weird ideas and could throw a good party and get everyone alcohol and would throw money around when he wanted it. But in the back of your mind, you always knew that guy, if push came to shove, wasn't really your friend. He wasn't really going to help you. And after screwing over several of us, that's why he's not around anymore. But at the same time, it's just like the way Holliday works. The whole concept is that he is going to play both sides towards the middle, and yeah, maybe in the end he's going to come out the hero because he's going to help Wyonna, but he's only going to do it for what's in his best interest. To my old sci-fi buddies, let Tyr be Tyr. That's the only thing I can trust him to be. And I hope Wyonna knows enough not to trust Doc, especially since he might end up being the next Bobo. I do hope I'm wrong about Doc, although I do think that having him out in the bar is a great step forward. But alright, so on to the main plot, and on to our new character. But first, the main plot. So, there's this place, and it's drawing in supernatural creatures. We've seen that before in urban fantasy and in fantasy. Hell, it's just grateful this wasn't the graveyard. Having it be an apartment complex they're building is at least a somewhat new take on it. And there's this place within there that just draws them. Now, that's also partially what draws out Waverly. but that's also what draws out everything. The spider creature, the ghosts, and then Wyonna saying she can feel it. Something big is coming. Well, of course, as the episodes build to the season finale, I'm sure that something big is going to become way more apparent. And let's not forget, we still have 10 more episodes. Like I said before with Game of Thrones, short seasons make sense when you need to conserve budget, but it does kind of hurt that we don't get the full 20 or 30 we'd be hoping for. But those were my thoughts on the episodes as things went down. I'm still waiting to see. By the way, you totally know that Doc knows where Dolls is, and that's what he's cooking up. A cure and or more of those drugs. At least those are my thoughts. Let me know down in the comment section what you think. I have one other thing to discuss, but I'd like to hear what your episode thoughts were first. That one last thing is Deputy Hot. And yeah, she is hot, and yeah, her and Waverly make a really cute couple, and as a guy, I totally love those scenes. But there's part of me that wonders if they linger on them a little too long. Do we really need to eat up that much of our time with these scenes? I just read an article that says Sci-fi channels and other networks like it are able to run R-rated movies if they run them after 10 o'clock. Since this comes on at 10, I wonder if that has something to do with the thought of this. But either way, if you're liking the episodes like I am, like and share this video. And of course, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and hit the alerts. I'm trying to build a community. I'd love to hear your thoughts, and try to do an entire episode maybe just on talking about what other people thought of the episodes. So give me a shout out, and I'll give one back. In the meantime, don't forget, I also have this new Throwback Thursdays that started this week talking about older stories, and my normal Sunday videos up every week. So for now, thank you, I hope you have a good night, and thank you for walking with me through the heart of the stories we tell.